Let's get right into it. Number 10. China's first emperor and his deadly mercury habit. Qin Shi Huang desperately wanted to live forever, so he ordered his court alchemists to create immortality elixirs made of mercury and other toxic substances. The man who unified China and built the Great Wall died at 49 from mercury poisoning caused by the very potions he thought would make him immortal. Mercury is poisonous. His supposed cures helped bring on his death. He sent entire fleets searching for magical islands of immortal wizards. He had scholars scouring ancient texts for secret formulas, but in the end, the emperor who conquered death's armies couldn't conquer death itself. The irony? He achieved immortality through his works, not his toxic pills. Number 9. Japan's self-mummifying monks. Buddhist monks called Sokushin Butsu attempted to achieve a state beyond life and death through self-mummification. These monks believed the sacrificial act would grant them access to Tusita heaven, where they would live for 1.6 million years. The process was brutal. First, they'd eat only nuts, seeds, and bark for 1,000 days. Then they'd switch to just pine needles and tree roots for another 1,000 days. Finally, they'd drink poisonous tree sap that made their bodies toxic to bacteria. They viewed it not as suicide, but as a sacred path to enlightenment. Then they'd seal themselves in tombs, ring a bell daily until they died, and wait. 1,000 days later, if no rot had set in, they'd be declared successful. Most just rotted away. The few that succeeded were essentially poisoned mummies, not immortal beings. Number 8. The alchemist who proved his own failure. In Tang Dynasty China, an alchemist named He Cheng claimed he'd created the perfect immortality elixir. To prove it worked, he drank his concoction in front of witnesses. He died immediately. That's the most expensive product demonstration failure in history. His death became a cautionary tale, but did that stop other alchemists? Absolutely not. They kept brewing their deadly cocktails for centuries. Sometimes the best way to prove something doesn't work is to try it yourself. He Cheng definitely proved his point. Number 7. Europe's mercury mad alchemists. Medieval European alchemists were obsessed with turning lead into gold and creating life-extending elixirs. They worked with mercury, arsenic, and other toxic metals daily. Many died from heavy metal poisoning while trying to create the Philosopher's Stone. Paracelsus, a famous Swiss alchemist, used mercury extensively in his treatments. These guys spent their lives handling deadly substances, thinking they were on the verge of defeating death. Instead, they were slowly killing themselves in their laboratories. They'd heat mercury until it turned into vapor, then breathe it in for hours. That's like trying to achieve immortality by huffing poison. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. Number 6. China's emperor who collected period blood. The Jiajing emperor was obsessed with Taoist immortality practices. He had young girls brought to his palace to collect menstrual blood for his elixirs. He believed this would give him eternal youth. The emperor also consumed toxic mercury compounds and practiced dangerous sexual techniques meant to steal life energy. His health deteriorated rapidly from his immortality regimen. The man who thought he could steal youth from teenage girls ended up dying from his own poisonous obsessions. He reigned for 45 years but spent most of it slowly killing himself with his immortality experiments. Sometimes the cure is worse than aging naturally. Number 5. The monks who starved themselves to enlightenment. Various ascetic groups throughout history have tried to achieve spiritual immortality through extreme self-mortification. The Pashupatas in ancient India would remain in uncomfortable positions for months, fast until they were skeletal, and perform other physical punishments. They believed suffering would purify their souls and grant them eternal life. Many died from malnutrition, exposure, or exhaustion. These weren't accidents. They saw death as a doorway to immortality. But dead is dead, regardless of your spiritual intentions. Their bodies couldn't survive their pursuit of eternal souls. Number 4. The Count who vanished into legend. The Count of Saint Germain was an 18th century mystery man who claimed to be centuries old. He allegedly knew secrets of alchemy and immortality. People at the French court believed he never aged. He'd tell stories of meeting historical figures from decades past as if he'd been there. Then one day he just disappeared. No death records, no grave, nothing. His believers said he had achieved true immortality. Reality tech, he probably just died like everyone else, and his mysterious disappearance created the legend. Sometimes the best way to become immortal is to vanish before anyone sees you age. Number 3. The Russian experiments with severed heads. In early Soviet Russia, scientist Sergei Brukhanenko created devices to keep severed dog heads alive by circulating blood. This was part of the Soviet quest to defeat death through science. The experiments were horrific. Dogs' heads would remain conscious for hours after being severed, blinking and reacting to stimuli. The goal was to eventually preserve human consciousness beyond death. The project failed spectacularly. The heads always died, often in apparent agony. The Soviets thought they could engineer immortality like they engineered everything else. Instead, they just created new ways to die slowly. Science fiction turned into scientific horror. Number 2. Modern cryonics and frozen dreams. Today, people pay huge sums to have their heads or bodies frozen after death, hoping future technology will revive them. Companies like Alcor store hundreds of frozen corpses in liquid nitrogen tanks. The customers are already dead. This is literally an experiment that starts with death. The hope is that future science will cure whatever killed them and bring them back. So far, no one has ever been successfully revived from cryonic preservation. These people paid for immortality and got expensive freezer storage instead. They're betting their afterlives on technology that doesn't exist yet. The freezing process itself damages cells beyond current repair capabilities. Number 1. The Immortality Potion Taste Test. During China's Han Dynasty, a man named Ting Cheng claimed to have the ultimate immortality elixir. The emperor demanded a sample. When Ting Cheng brought the potion, a court minister grabbed it and drank it first. The emperor was furious and ordered the minister's execution. But the minister had perfect logic. If this truly grants immortality, you can't kill me. If you can kill me, the elixir is fake. The emperor was so amused by this reasoning that he pardoned the minister. The story perfectly captures the absurdity of immortality claims. If you're truly immortal, prove it by surviving something that should kill you. If you can't, then your immortality experiment just became your death experiment. Throughout history, the pursuit of immortality has been humanity's most consistent failure. Emperors, monks, alchemists, and scientists have all tried different approaches. Mercury potions, extreme fasting, toxic elixirs, frozen preservation, they all end the same way, dead. The only people who've ever achieved any form of immortality are those remembered for their ideas, art, or discoveries, not for their failed attempts to cheat death. Every immortality experiment becomes a mortality experiment. That's death being undefeated throughout human history. Subscribe if you want to see more stories of humanity's most spectacular failures.